That shit is just unattractive as fuck. Quit doing that stuff. Make yourself look good, right? Good morning, brothers. Today we're going to be talking about physical attractiveness when you are rebooting from an out-of-control behavior with pornography and masturbation. Now, of course, this pertains to your dating reboot capital. For those of you who are new to the Porn Reboot system, we are a holistic system, which means we address different areas of your life that you may have lost to your addictive behavior, your ability to date, understand the basic psychology of women, your physical fitness, your mental health, your emotional states, your finances, and a whole host of other things. We focus on all of these. This is the reason why we talk about dating. But pertaining to the topic today, one of the things I notice in different groups, including ours, is when a man shows up and says that, hey, I am struggling with dating. I'm struggling with getting women to respond to me on the dating apps and the dating sites. Or when I approach women, I don't get the response I like. Or when men are in relationships and say, oh, I have a sexless marriage and, we're going for counseling. One thing the counselor or the therapist will not bring up is the most basic thing, the baseline thing, which is your attractiveness. Actually, it's both of your attractiveness, but we're talking about you. For the guys who are dating, you'll see guys giving them tips. Oh, just be yourself. Use this tip or that. Bottom line is, how good do you look? And this is very important because when it comes to developing intimacy, there are two people involved and we are animals. That means that despite Disney, despite the fact that you're a nice guy, despite the fact that you have a great personality or a job or money or everything, you do have to reach the minimum looks threshold of a woman before she will consider you. This is the reason why one guy can approach a woman and say, hey, how you doing? I just saw you from across the room and I thought you were really attractive, but I wanted to come and say hi. And she's like, oh my God, well, hi, thank you, what a compliment, blah, blah, blah. And another guy will approach her and it's sexual harassment, right? It simply means that guy that it's going to be hit with sexual harassment simply didn't reach her looks threshold, okay? That's the big reason. There could be many other reasons, like he approached the wrong way, it wasn't a good time of the day for her, she has some past trauma, she wasn't expecting it, all sorts of things. But mainly, the first thing that will improve your probability of saving your relationship, that just begins it, it's the foundation, is how you look. Now, for the guys in relationships, first of all, I'm just going to give you the basics because I can go on and on about this, but I do go on and on about this and break this down in detail and even work with men one-on-one to fix this in the dating reboot coaching program. And there's a link to sign up and be notified about it in the comment section below or in the description of the video. But the first thing is, gentlemen, if you want to have a relationship that is actively sexual, if you want your partner to put in the efforts to look good and sexy for you and not take it for granted, despite the busyness of your relationship and kids and work and all sorts of things, then you have to maintain a baseline of attractiveness. And this starts with your physical fitness. I have very high standards for this, and I truly believe that in your state and the place you live, if you were put in a line with the top 10% of guys in your age group, in the area you live in the city you live in, you should be in the top 10%. You should be aiming for that. So if you're 49 years old, if you're put with all the guys who are 47 to 52 years old, just a random range I'm picking, you should be among the best looking there. That's my standard for that. I really think the physical aspect is very important. Not I know it's important. The second thing is you got to dress up, guys. A lot of you guys kind of let yourself go when you get into a relationship. Come on. Right? It doesn't hurt to wear a collared shirt at home sometimes, to dress up sometimes, which is what I do. I'm actually dressed up most of the time at home. Wear a little bit of cologne, have good hygiene, right? Don't walk around with your breath stinking just because you're like, oh, we're at home and we've been around each other. While she's in the shower, I'm taking a shit. That shit is just unattractive as fuck. Quit doing that stuff. Make yourself look good, right? Be an attractive man and let your partner understand subconsciously that, hey, he's a catch. And if things don't work out, this man can walk out this door and he can get another woman immediately. Till today, 14 going on 15 years into my relationship, I have that belief about myself. And I know that, and my partner knows that both of us keep ourselves up And we don't have an issue finding other partners because we haven't become dependent on each other or codependent on each other in our relationship. It's just not a thing for us, right? So gentlemen in relationships, take care of your attractiveness and stay up to date with some basic fashions. Don't follow fads, but still, wear fitted stuff if that's something that's universal. I'm not going to go too much into style because guys get really, get a little bit weird in that area. For the guys who are single, this is an interesting one because a lot of brothers will post like, oh, I have problems on the dating side. But the first thing I ask is, what do your pictures look like? Because we live in a very visual world with the internet. And when it comes to dating sites and dating apps, women are going to click on you, first of all, based on how you look. I hate to break it to you, but they're not going around reading what you say in your profile. They are looking at what you are conveying via your pictures. So that's the first thing you need to do. Now, before you put up great pictures or go take professional pictures, you need to make sure that you have maximized your looks. If you have facial hair, you need to have facial hair that suits your face. If you have hair on your head, you have to have hair that actually suits you. If your skin is shitty, you have to fix your skin. I personally struggle with a whole bunch of skin issues. I have very oily skin. I had a lot of acne, which scarred me up. So I have to put in the work to make sure my skin looks as good as possible. Now, I'm not out there dating, but I'm very conscious about how I show up on camera and a few other places with my skin, because you might be like, well, JK, it just looks average. It actually, if I don't take care of it daily, it looks like shit. In the Dating Reboot program, I'm going to talk about skincare routines and actually bring in some pros who are the people I learned from when it comes to taking care of my skin. When it comes to your body, gentlemen, if you are single and dating, you want to maximize your physique, all right? You want to look as good as possible. You want to keep your body fat low. Keeping your body fat low is very important because it shows your features, right? I'm a guy, I'll use myself as an example. So I'm a guy who has like a chubby face, right? You guys might have seen some pictures of me that even at 10% body fat, I still hold fat in my face. It's just the way I am genetically. But if I was to let myself go, my face just looks like a big blob with two holes in the center. It just does not look attractive at all. There's no definition, there's nothing. And a lot of you guys have very a decent bone structure, but you don't show your bone structure, which increases your attractiveness because you keep your body fat percentage so high. There's so many guys that just by dropping body fat, they increase their attractiveness points by 3 to 4 points, okay? Just being generalizing here. We actually have a scale that I use within the Dating Reboot program. Your style. This is very important as well. Your style is based on the archetype that you embody. And there are a lot of guys who are trying to squeeze themselves into an archetype that just doesn't, archetype or avatar that doesn't work for them. I'll give you guys an example. Let's talk about race and ethnicity. Let's say you're an East Asian guy. Again, I'm generalizing here. You are going to fulfill a stereotype, whether you like it or not. And an East Asian guy is going to be seen as nerdy. He's going to be seen as financially well off. He's not going to be seen as good in bed. He's not going to be seen as aggressive. And a woman, typical Western woman, may have to think twice about, do I want this guy to be my boyfriend because of this? Gentlemen, I know a lot of you guys don't like to hear shit like that, but it's the truth. Sometimes there are a lot of guys who are Asian, who are minorities, racial minorities, I'll put it like this, in the United States, who want to date a certain type of woman, but they are unwilling to change themselves. You have to be willing to change yourself or juxtapose what you have working for you in order to increase your attractiveness. This means, for instance, if you're an East Asian guy, and I'm using this example because I've coached a lot of East Asian guys to great success in their dating lives in the United States. For instance, you might want to put on some muscle because that increases your perceived aggressiveness and masculinity. You may want to be a little bit edgy. Edgy could mean things like tattoos. I'm not saying you should go get one. It could mean things like having some piercings. It could mean things like wearing some jewelry. Because guess what? you're still going to fulfill the stereotype of being, like financially well off, being smart or nerdy. But then you juxtapose it with looking like a guy who is aggressive and good in bed and looking a little bit edgy. And that changes your entire dating life. You also stand out when it comes to other guys of your ethnicity because you look a little bit different from them, especially if you live in a city where there are not many men who look like you. All this does is, it doesn't mean that it's, if you don't do this, you're not going to have a great dating life. This just drastically increases your options. Same thing goes for men of African descent, for black men. There is a stereotype. The stereotype in the United States is that you are not financially well off, that you are dangerous. You're not viewed as safe as an Asian guy would be viewed as, but you have the stereotype of being good in bed or of having a big penis, which again, it's not really true, but again, you guys already know how powerful that stereotype is. So what do? You're already fulfilling the stereotype without doing anything. So you juxtapose it, right? Maybe you want to dress up in a way that shows that you're a little bit more conservative. You want to not speak in a way that would make people think that you're from the hood or that you are uneducated. So you want to speak well. That alone is juxtaposing the way you dress. And if you're jacked, for example, and you're still, even if you may not be that aggressive, you're just a little bit aggressive and a little bit direct, that juxtaposition makes you stand out from other men in your ethnicity and, again, widens the dating pool for you. In the Dating Reboot program, I go into detail for guys of Arab or Indian descent. Most of those are also, they have their nuances there, of course, for Latino guys and so on. But you guys get the idea when it comes to that. White guys basically fuck themselves over, and they fuck themselves over because they take a lot of things for granted. They're not, some guys, again, generalizing, some white guys are just unaware of these things because they go through life without having to deal with some of the same issues that minority men deal with. Again, I'm not giving excuses for anyone. I'm just telling you guys what the reality is. So I see a lot of white guys with great potential who just won't make the effort because they think girls will come to them. And here's the crazy thing. They can date certain women because as these women are eliminating minority men who don't have their shit together or who are not juxtaposing, they are the only guys left. So they get a chance, they get a foot in the door, but they only get the most basic of girls. Then they get mad because they want a higher level of girl, but they're not willing to put in the effort, right? They're not willing to switch and be and fit an archetype or an avatar. But the truth is that as a white guy, you can fit almost any. You just want to make sure you don't overdo it so you don't become a caricature, right? But that's a very important concept to understand. And once you've picked the archetype that not only are you comfortable with, but that works for your dating life, you're set. You can maintain that. And of course, as you get older, we talk about this in the program, as you hit your mid-30s, as you get into your 40s, as you become what is defined as an older guy, you do have to make some adjustments or you're going to end up looking ridiculous, right? So gentlemen, when it comes to, also, let's talk about aging. Man, I'm going all over the place with this. Let's talk a little bit about aging. Aging is inevitable. We're going to grow old and we're going to grow less physically attractive. And one of your goals is to make sure that you slow down the aging process as much as you can and maintain your attractiveness for as long as you can. It's going to make you feel better about yourself. It's going to make you feel better about yourself because as you get older, if you're a single guy, dating becomes so much easier. All right. Almost all my friends are single and they're about in my age range, late 30s to 40s. And these guys, there is no competition. There really isn't, because every other guy who is their age either has stopped taking care of themselves, has a dad bod, and even if they are divorced or separated, they've been out of the game for so long and they weren't taking care of themselves when they were in a relationship. So now they're not even a competition in the dating market. Imagine this, being a single guy in your early 40s or in your mid to late 30s. You have experience. You have the financial wherewithal. You're still not so old that you're disconnected from a lot of cultural and societal things. Not societal, but a lot of cultural references. You're in that sweet spot. You look amazing. You're fit. You are attractive. I mean, you have the pick of everything. You can date almost any age range you want to date. You can date up, you can date down. It's very different. A guy who is in their 20s is probably not going to be as financially attached as you are. He's probably going to fuck up a lot more because you have more fuck ups than him. So he's still learning. And also, when it comes to your mental and emotional health, it's usually in better shape. So you're not going to vacillate between strong emotions like a guy in his 20s because you've experienced a little bit more of life. And that steadiness that you have, that groundedness that you have, is very attractive to women. But again, there are not many people telling you that. But in order to be that guy and not fucking fall apart and look like you are 50 when you are 39 years old, bro, you need to start taking care of yourself very early. I'll use myself again as an example. Now, I've said it many times whenever I talk about the attraction thing and dating, that I do not consider myself to be an extremely good-looking guy. I don't even consider myself to be a good-looking guy. I am a guy who, if I didn't take care of myself, I would be a 2. But thankfully, because I take care of myself, I'm a 6. And on some really good days, I am a 7 for the most part. And in certain locations, dressed a certain way, I can be an 8. What's important is that mentally, emotionally, and otherwise, I feel like a 9 or a 10 on most days, which keeps me stable in that range. That's the way I perceive myself, realistically. However, remember I said, I would be a fucking 2, maybe a 3 if I didn't take care of myself. Now, I spent my entire 20s selling books door to door, outside in the hot sun in the South. Mississippi, Tennessee, Alabama, North and South Carolina, Texas. I did not wear sunscreen for 11 years. I fucking destroyed my skin, right? I didn't know about these things. I just didn't care. And you don't when you're 20s. You're in your 20s. Thankfully, thanks to some of my mentors, as I started hitting my late 20s, I started running into mentors who looked amazing. Guys who were in their 40s, and when they told me their age, I was like, motherfucker, I look older than you. How do you look so amazing? And they told me that they started taking care of their skin in their late 20s. And I highly recommend that you start doing this. Start taking care of your skin, start taking care of your receding hairline, and start taking care of your physique in your 20s. It's critically important because it becomes so much easier to maintain your physique through your 30s and your 40s when you've already built a baseline. Muscle memory is a real thing, right? There's also a very subtle difference in the physique of somebody who never worked out seriously in their 20s. And when you see them in their 30s, it's just like they still got that old guy bod. It's fit, but you're just like, but it's obvious that you're an old guy who's trying to reverse something, versus a guy who had that nice V taper and already built up that muscular framework and foundation. When he goes into his 30s and his 40s, he still has that shape, which does have a youthful vibe around it. You guys know what I'm talking about, those of you who are into fitness. And then when it comes to things like your hairline, a lot of guys let this get to their head and affect their mental health. It's very simple. You have 2 choices, all right? You can let it all go, or you can start taking preventative measures, right? There are preventative measures all the way from topical ointments to the very dangerous finasteride, which I have never used, but I do use it topically on my hair. And right now, there is hair transplant surgery, which I recommend you should just go to directly. Honestly, if you're losing your hairline, get hair transplant surgery as soon as you can and start saving for it. If it is something that, if your hair is very important to you and you feel that it's a great contributor to your attractiveness. I've had a hair transplant surgery. I may have one more and then I'll probably let it all go. But I have a whole hair protocol that I used to maintain my hair. My hairline, I'll show you guys pictures, used to be just horrendous. And there's a lot of, the concealing thing takes a lot of time and it's just a lot of bullshit, right? When it comes to your face, you got to start taking care of your skin. If you have a lot of wrinkles already and a lot of damage, probably it's time to start getting some Botox or something like Z-Men, which are injectables for your face that remove your wrinkles, and I call it more of preservation, right? If you're in your late 20s, perhaps it's something you want to start getting like once a year if you're seeing wrinkles show up. Now, again, all we're doing is slowing the aging process, right? It's gonna get you. It's gonna get you eventually, but you can slow it for as long as possible. I want to say that this is not just for dating, okay? This can help you in your career. It can help you in many aspects of your life because people do judge us by appearances. And if you look older and you look like shit, it might be difficult for you to get a promotion. It'll be more challenging for you to close a sale because you're just not visually pleasing to the eyes. Ideally, we want to work on our internal state, our ability to communicate. But again, this is some basic shit that once you have a system around it, you can just use it and maintain for the rest of your life, all right? Botox, Zeman, I'll get into in the dating reboot program. We're going to talk about human growth hormone and different things that make your skin more elastic and look good and so on and so forth. But anyway, guys, I'm rambling. Those are the basics when it comes to maintaining your attractiveness. The whole point of this ramble, so to speak, is maintain your attractiveness in your relationship, maintain it in your dating life. Especially, the whole point of this is maintain your attractiveness in your relationship as you get older, both for your partner and in the very real chance that you end up single again and you have to go back into the dating market. You want to have more options, in fact, than guys who are in their 20s, more options than you did when you got together with your partner. And for those of you who are younger or who are single and out there dating, with Instagram and a lot of these apps out there, women now know that there are very attractive men out there. They know that there are attractive men who are not in their city. And these men are hitting them up or they are DMing these guys. So they know what attraction is, and the competition out there is crazy. You don't need to look like a supermodel, but at the very least, like I said, you want to look as good as the top 10% in your city. And in fact, if you can be among the top 10% good looking, well put together guys in your city, that is ideal. I hope that makes sense. And for more information on this, I go into minute detail, including references and resources for guys who are in the dating reboot coaching program, which will be coached personally by me. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm JK, your brother in the struggle. I'll speak to you later on in the week.